Hi you guys, it's loud today. Good day to you. Welcome back. Glad you guys are here. It's a ridiculously busy day. Words here at the shop. I'm trying to work on customers' cars. The building's getting worked on. They're pulling the tile out of the section over there. Anyway, back to the task at hand. We have a Ford F150. I forgot what year it was. We're doing something a little bit different today. We are going to re-gear this up to 456 gears. My guy has some Yukon lockers, or limited slips. I use those terms interchangeably, incorrectly obviously, but there's some Yukon gear sets in some boxes, and we're gonna go ahead and get this thing up in the air. We're gonna pull the differentials apart, we're gonna change out the gear sets, we're gonna replace the bearings, we're gonna change the seals. We're basically rebuilding both front and rear axles. That being said, there's a lot to do, so let's get this thing into the building, let's get started on it. So let us round the corner of death. We're going to the left. This thing's gonna be here for a couple days, but I still need to work straight ahead, so we're going over there. A little loud. And we'll get this party started as soon as I can get this on the rack. Clearing the corner of death. Looking good. We're gonna make it, and safe. Now, seeing as how this is a very, very, very long and labor-intensive job, I'm gonna skip around a lot. First thing I'm gonna do is set this rack right here. Loud noises. We're gonna set the rack, get it up in the air, pull the wheels off of it, and we'll start getting everything disassembled. Powering down. Okie dokes, we're down here at the rear deck. No tour of this one, we're getting right into it. Let's pull the cover off. That's tight. Yeah, we're gonna have to up the game here on the tool section. All right, let's try the 3/8. That 1/4 inch wasn't cutting it. More steam. Unclip these, this ABS line right here. It's an electrical connector. Leave that one in so it doesn't fall down. There we go. All right, we're going in. We're gonna go ahead and loud noise. We're gonna break this loose right here. Okay, get in here and crack this open while the loud noises have subsided. Please open. Get in there. There we go. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, I'm gonna let this drain for a while, and we're gonna go around to the front side here and disconnect the drive shaft so we can turn the pinion and continue disassembly of this rear end. Okay, these are 12-point point bolts here. We're gonna attack these with some 12-point wobbly driveline sockets. Nice and easy. The wobble really helps. Also good for hub bearings. Especially 12-pointed hub bearings. Bolt gravity. Good, that's 4. Let's get this thing loose. Couple love taps here. Couple more. Freedom. I think that's a 10 mil. Probably not. Nope. How about a 3/8 instead? It's gonna be 3/8. See if I can't crack that guy loose. Oh. There we go. And now that it's loose, it becomes a 10 mil. Okay, let's spin this guy around and we'll knock our pin out. It's this big guy right here. Pull that out. And into the bucket. Now, watch inside right here very carefully and closely. I'll push the axles in and we can extract the C-clips. There's one. Numero dos. Okay, let's get these clips out of here. Now, I can extract the axles. See how they push through? Come on, axle. That's a big axle. Yeah. That almost didn't sound like what I was trying to say. Let's go fetch the other side real quick here. I told you we were going to move along very fast through this particular project here. It's going to be a lot of work. Put that right there so it stays safe. All right, so we got 4 more bolts. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on both of these caps, and that should allow me to start to remove this unit. However, there's something here I did not notice, and it appears to have some kind of electric, I don't know if that's a speed sensor or a temp sensor. There's something going into this. There's a connector right here and some kind of a sensor. There's a wire on the inside running into this differential, so I'm not sure what that's about, but it's coming out of there. See, I'm not exactly certain how this comes out because I've run out of wire very quickly. Let me pull this cap out of here and see if I can't get some extra space. Maybe that'll help. Ooh, that stinks. Diff fluid stinks. You're working here? Oh, I'm sorry. Noisy. All right, I see what the deal is. There's a connector inside of this connector, so there's 2 connectors right here, so I just need to disconnect this one and unit should come out of there. I've never experienced this particular connector before. It made a snap. Now what do we do? Pull it till it breaks? Is this gonna work? Maybe I unclipped it the wrong way. Let's try that way. There we go. Look at that. Easy peasy. I think I'm gonna have to save this and at least to, plug the hole. I'm not sure what this does. It might just be a speed sensor. Okay, 2 more caps. For 2 more bolts. Pry bar. We need pry bar. Yeah, that thing, it's in there good. It's got a pretty hefty preload. Oh, wow. Come out. That's a serious preload. Alright, moving on a little bit, we're bouncing all over the place. I'm going to go ahead and pull these bearings out of the rear axle, and they're also going to pluck the seals out with it. I'm going to use a slide hammer and a little puller device. Watch this. That goes in, grabs on, we hammer it out. In theory. Come out. Okay, that's one out. We're gonna run around the other side and do the same procedure. Move it along at light speed. Okay, well, I destroyed the bearing race, but it's still in there. I'll keep plugging away at it. I'm running out of bearing to pull off of. This is it's flying apart, not good. Here it comes. Man, that was brutal. No worries, everything survived. We're good. Alrighty, new bearings coming in. These are Timken bearings. I think these are actually axle saver bearings, but from what I understand, that's all that was available. The difference being is there's a seal integrated into the bearing and it's kind of offset in a little bit. Theory being is if the axle's got a bunch of wear on it where the seal rides, it moves the seal location so that way the axle does not leak. Not necessary, but like I say, it was the only thing available, so that's what we're using. Just tap it in. Around we go. Okay, this thing's driven in and it's flush with the axle tube. I just ran the other side in because I figured that one was going to sink in a little further. It did not though, they both stopped flush right here. So I'm assuming that based on that design of that bearing, that's where they go. Because I cannot get them to go in any further. I tried. Looks good to me. So that's bearing and seal. It's called an axle saver bearing. Okay, up in front of the rear differential, we need to get this yoke out of here. But it's going to be press fit onto the pinion. So I'm gonna just yank it off with the puller right here. This is a ball joint puller, but it'll work just fine for this specific application. Tighten that guy up and give it some impacting kicks. Here it comes. Nice. Whoa, gravity. I had to dodge that one. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Escalation, loud noises incoming. Air hammer this thing out. There it goes. Got it. Pinion gravity. Okay, we need to get that front bearing out, knock the races out, drive new races in, and then we can clean all this up and get ready for reassembly. Here, while we're here, I'll just see if I can't drive that front pinion race and bearing out right now. Splattering. There, put that there, reduce splatter. Right. I plucked the front seal out. I just need to lose this race next. The bearing is also out. That seal was hanging it up. Got it. I'm gonna go around to the other side and drive this this race out right here next. Then we can put the new ones in. I see you. Got it. All right. Front side shiny. Very nice. Real good looking, nice. I like it. Okie dokie. It's been about an hour and I've spent quite a bit of time over there on the press taking this pinion bearing on and off because I had to shim it properly. You see there's a little shim down in there. It was never measuring out to be what I wanted it to be or where it's supposed to be, but now it is. So we can go ahead and get this thing stuck back up into its home here, or into its new home rather. And we'll go around the front side and get that front pinion bearing, the crush sleeve words, and the seal installed. Now, just so we all understand, this situation is very similar to the Project Jeep differential rebuild situation, where there's a lot of stuff going into this and not all of it is being recorded and photo documented for your enjoyment. So I'm just going over like the key points here. You're basically getting the cliff notes. That's how this is working out. I mean, basically I'm not in a position to make you guys like a 20-something hour video, so you get the shortened version. Getting this pinion bearing on the pinion's gonna be fun. It doesn't seem to want to slide on. I'm gonna have to give it the press treatment. Okay, the crush sleeve is already in place. It's down on the shaft. You heard it jangling. This outer bearing is a pretty tight squeeze here. What I need to do is, I realize there's no seal in there yet. I'll put that in later. Is that gonna go? Oh man, Please go on. Need to get it on far enough so I can thread the bolt onto that pinion. What I'm doing is using the flange and the pinion bolt to press that inner bearing over the pinion. Yeah, we're close now. Almost. Okay, a couple threads have become started. So now what I can do is just run this bolt down nut, and it's going to draw those two bearings together by pressing this flange over the pinion, and that's going to bring that those bearings up against their races, and then once I apply torque to it, it's going to crush the crush washer, and that's how we're going to set preload. Preload is the tightness between the bearings. Okay, now this next part's very important. I'm not setting preload. All I'm doing is running down that bearing till it contacts and starts to crush the crush washer. That's all we're doing here. See, it's pulling the pinion in. See that? Uh-oh, we fast forwarded again and the pinion's back out. We have run into a snag. This is a nasty one. Check this out over here. So here's our old pinion bearing. Here is the new one. Text message that came with the Yukon kit. Now we can see there's a difference in the thickness of these and the taper and roller style, which I figured that was inconsequential at first. Now you see that bearing fits in there just perfectly. That's the race that it's supposed to match up to. So that's the one, like I said, that came with the kit, including the race. Trouble is, when I tried to run this thing down, it does not begin to press over the pinion. That's the old one. And here's the new one. It runs dead smack into it and it will not go on. So I am breaking out the micrometer right there, the Mitutoyo calipers, and we're gonna measure this and just see if there's a difference here or not. Yeah, as hard as I tried, I could not get this thing to press over the top of that new pinion gear. So let's measure this out real quick. The micrometers. We got 14, 35, 1.434 inches. Okay. Now look at this right here. Here's the new one. 1.401. That's more than 30 thousandths too small. And here's our new from Yukon pinion gear. We're gonna measure the outer diameter of this guy. We're at 14, can you guys see that? 14.51, 5244. Let's call it 1439, okay? So 1439, so we need at least 1440 to make this thing press over. 1439, and going back to our new bearing, 1403. This is not going to fit on this. All the parts in this kit were correct and accurate, with the exception of this front pinion bearing. So I'm dead in the water. There's almost nothing more I can do until I can get one of these guys. So we're gonna call Yukon and see if we can't get one overnighted. This is a problem, because I had 3 days to do this truck, and it might take me 3 days just to get parts for this truck. Stress. Okay, it's the next day. I've got a plan here. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna order another factory bearing, and we're gonna install the factory style race in place of this replacement bearing and race in the differential, and then we'll see if this stuff is all gonna fit together. Because the factory bearing will fit on the pinion, but it will not fit, it'll fit on the old pinion, it'll fit on the new pinion, but not the new bearing. That won't fit at all. Okay, so I've got that ordered already. I'm gonna go and knock out that new race that I drove in yesterday, and then prep everything again for the new race. All right, well, since I'm at a standstill with what's going on back there, I'm gonna come up here and start disassembling. Okay, this is gonna be the same story as yesterday. We're gonna pull the brakes off. I think the bearings have to come out. I actually have new bearings here for this, so while they're out, we'll replace them with the new ones. This has to come apart, and I'll hang this caliper. No, I won't, because it's stuck. Caliper compressing tool. Stick that in there and give it a tug. And comes right out. So I'll hang this over here. It's not working. Now it is. There we go. So I'll hang this over here. We'll pull the rest of this stuff apart. See if the little gun's gonna pull this off. Yes. Yes, it is. Uh-oh, flashlight down. The battery is nicht gut. Now we're in the darkness. All right, these appear to be vacuum actuated hubs. See that vacuum line right there? So I'm going to detach that, and we'll start unbolting this unit. Pry driver. Let's get under it and pop that guy up. I think these are vacuum lock and unlock. They use a pulse and a diaphragm in here. So you get one pulse to lock and one pulse to unlock. I believe that's how they function. Okay, so it's probably in the way a little bit, so I'm just gonna zip this backing plate off since it's bolted in. It's 3 bolts. Let's pull this little cap off because we have to disconnect the axle from the bearing. We haven't even got started yet. I've got to get all this apart and pull the differential out. Like, it has to actually come out. I can't get access to the cover in there because the steering gear is in the way, so we've got to either remove the steering gear or the diff, and I think I'm just going to remove the diff, probably both, because I don't know if I can fit that little differential in this space right here, so we'll see. We got one nut here on the CV axle. Pull that guy off. Axle's free. This is good. Okay, just to make this easier, I'm going to pull the tie rods out on both those guys right here. Loud noises. Okay, looks like some 18s. Those are tight. Yeah, we're gonna need a slim line tool to fit in that one. The big impact isn't gonna fit. And unclick. And 2 more on the other side over here. Oh. There we go. There's the flashlight. Bet you northern guys have never seen this before. Watch this. Not that. This. Look at that. Okay, we need some ball joint pullers next, and I have one. Set this guy up on here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the spindles out. I'm bouncing around a lot, like I said, but I am gonna go ahead and pull the spindles because I need to pull the axles, and I don't think I can get the axles out with the spindles here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull them off since they're already stripped. I've got 2 ball joints to break free, and that's that. So, like I said, I'm just gonna remove them. Make it easier. Might be easier than working around it a lot. Okay, it's free. And another one up top here. Is that gonna work? Sure is. Kinda. Yep. Alright, going in. That was violent. Whatever, we got it though. I'll slide this guy out. See, that's why you put your nuts on after you get your nuts off, so things don't hit you in the face. Okay, real quick repeat on the driver's side, and then we'll start to pull these axles and then drop the differential out. This one looks easiest on the passenger side, so let's, oh gravity, let's run this out. Come out, all the way please. There we go. Good. Oh, I see. This O-ring goes over here. You stay right there. Okay, we have fast forwarded again. I've got the new replacement pinion bearing here, and I'm trying to get the crush washer crushed and seated. I've got a huge, gigantic breaker bar on my very good ratchet. That's on the nut, and I've got a bearing puller. It's an Astro bearing puller. It's basically just really good bolts, and I've got those run through and kind of hanging onto the housing so I can actually apply torque to that nut that's in there. Words. Reason I need so much torque is I have to crush the crush sleeve. Once we get this thing crushed and it brings the bearings into contact with the races, then we can set preload. And once preload is set, that's that, and it stays there. That's the finalized action. So I'm in the midst right now of cranking that down. I've got just a little bit more to go, and we'll have contact, and then I can take this apparatus off of here, bust off a little torque wrench, and then set my pinion preload. Here, let's get a few more turns out of this. Very sketchy, loud noises. Turning, turning, turning. Oh. Yeah, there's still play in it, so I'm gonna go a little bit more. Okay, let's pull these guys out the rest of the way. That one's a little bent, so need pliers. Okay, I'm gonna pull this yoke off one more time, and then we can drive the seal in place. The seal's not installed yet. I like to install those after I set everything up. Just my thing. One more time with this puller, and we'll pop the yoke back out and then drive the seal in. Okay. All right, guys, here comes the moment. We've got the preload. We have the preload set up on the Pinion. I've got that, very, very heavy thing lifted. Oh, heavy, stupid heavy differential coming in. Let's get this guy in his home, and hopefully I don't have to do too much shimming to get this set up properly, because I don't want to pull this thing in and out 100 times. Got new bearings pressed on. Here's the races, and I need to maneuver the spacers in, and then we can get this this thing shimmed up. Stay a little bit farther in there, please. Everybody start lining up, doing what you need to do, because I need you to do what you need to do. There's one shim. These are the factory spacers, and I've got smaller shims where I can move this left or right as need be. And to keep this from falling out, I'm just going to go ahead and stick one of the caps in, thread it. That way I can walk away without fear of dropping this unit, because that would be bad. That'd be incredibly bad, because it'll break the gears if it falls. And then we have a problem, a big problem. I'll get in there. Okay, I was wrong. This thing has been in and out about 3 or 4 times now. Keep in mind, like I said, I'm skipping around a lot because this is a many hour job, not a 1 hour job. Well, the battery died, so I forgot what I was talking about, but I think I was talking about hours on the job versus hours on video, and yeah, we're many hours on the job and not many on the video. Anyway, what I'm doing next is putting some paint on these gears. I'm gonna run these gears over the Pinion, and we're gonna make sure that it's got good contact on the heel and on the toe of these gears. We don't want the Pinion riding on the edge or bottoming out or riding up here or down here. So we've got to double check with the paint to make sure that it's got a good contact. So the Pinion preload is set up. My spacing, I believe, is correct, and we're going to check that right now. That's the left and right spacing of the differential. And now we're just going to double check everything. So we're going to run this past the gears. I'm reaching over and turning the Pinion. This is going to be our forward side first, and then we'll do the coast side next. I'm keeping some friction on this so we get a good contact with the gears. Pinion's gonna pick up some paint and then transfer it onto another gear on the ring gear here, and it'll give us a visual identifier of what kind of a pattern we're making here. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see, but it looks like the contact patch is going from here to here. That's a little bit off center, but it's still in spec. It hasn't made it to the edge of the gear, so I think that's gonna work out. Let me just check the coast side. We'll go the other way around, and then we'll check the marks that it makes on the coasting side. Yep, here's our pattern right here. Look at that, real good contact. It didn't pick much up on the coasting side. That's our drive side. Okay, let's get rid of our gear paint. We don't need that mixing with our oil. It's supposed to be inert, but I like to wash it away. Buy yellow paint. Yep. Loud noises. Okay, moving on. Let's put some grease in the wheel bearings, and then we can slide our axles in. Just a little bit in there, just so these don't run dry for the first couple miles. See, the oil from the differential has to migrate down the tube and then get to these bearings, so I just like to throw a little bit of grease on them. That way they're lubricated. Oi. Okay, axle coming in. There's the diff. Pick up, find the splines, push it in. Yeah. Now I can dig out that C-clip. There's the other one right there. And I've got one axle. I already did the other side when you weren't looking, but there's one axle with a C-clip in there, and I got to C-clip the second one. Let's see if I can't get this in there. See, that's the way it goes. Slide that guy in. It clips onto the axle, and then we slide it back out, and that clip will slide into a recess. You see that? That's what holds the axles into the housing. Okay, now to prevent these axles from sliding back in, we've got this little puck right here, and that's going to go in between them. You gonna fit? Nope. Space this one out a little further. There. Now it will fit. So that keeps the axles separated. And then this little guy goes in, and that's going to retain the puck. And then this guy goes in to retain the retainer. That's gonna fit. There it goes. Snap. Okay, back over to the right rear. Let's throw the brakes back together, and then we can put the cover on and refill this rear diff. We're almost done with this half of the car. One rotor. It's cross-drilled and slotted for high performance. Bracket and pads still loaded from disassembly. Hang that guy right there, pull the bolt back out. Like I said, I already did the other side. Time saving measures and whatnot. Alright, one tight and two. Hang our caliper again. Perfect. Come on, get in there. So one thing I've come to learn about this truck is if a piece comes off, when a new piece goes back on, it's got to be an upgraded piece. It's just like the theme of this particular truck. So having said that, we're installing this Ford Performance differential cover. It's massively huge. I mean, it's thick. This is a very thick cast piece of metal. No sealant. It's got a very nice gasket that comes with it. So let's get this guy on and we'll start to secure the fasteners here. Easier said than done because I'm trying to line up this gasket and the bolts and hold the weight of it. This is fatiguing, just mildly. Get in there, please. You gonna go or what? And it said what? Okay, 2 bolts in. All right. Bolt. Come on, you. Trying to get the holes in the gasket to line up with the holes in the cover, and then at the same time with the holes in the differential. A little tricky. Tricky. One up here. Another one up, gravity. That one's down. A couple more to go down here on the bottom side. And we can start to consider applying some torque here. I think this one went up top. I'll get that later. And this one. I'll get that later. And this one. Oops. Yeah, redo. But which ones do I need? I need... You're out of here? All right, I see where I failed. This one, and that one. So let's pull these guys back out and get the proper fastener installed. Click. That one next. And that one right there. Come here. There it is. All right, guys, we're reaching the end of day 2 here. The rear end is done. I've got to put some oil in it, which I have to order. So it is not here just yet. Once that differential lube arrives, I can refill this, and then I'll put the rear tires back on, and this side back here is good to go. We've got both brakes in, bearings are replaced, it's got seals, pinion bearings, pinion seal, the carrier bearings are changed, it's got a new differential, that's the limited slip. I plugged this little connector back in. The other side of it is no longer used, so it's basically open circuit, but now it looks like it has not been manipulated. I'm halfway through disassembly on the front side, but I think I'm gonna save that for part 2 or maybe part 3. I don't even know where I'm at with this video. I'm so back and forth on this car that I've lost a bit of organization. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out right now, and I'm gonna get back to work on this front side. So as always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. Hope to see you on the next edition of this Ford F150. Hope you like this video. As always, if you like this video, please do me a favor and tap that like button down below. That's what lets me and YouTube know that I've done a good job here. And if YouTube thinks that I've done a good job, it's far more likely to recommend my content to other potential viewers. That's good for me, it's also good for them. So again, and as always, thank you guys for watching. And most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of FERD. End of day. End of video. Thanks for watching. Over and out.